Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our continued production of United Rogue Rocket League Noodle Cup Series action here on this Saturday night. We've had some fantastic series preceding this one, and this one we've got in front of us looks to be no different. I'm accompanied once again by I'm Screwed, looking fantastically fly in those sunglasses. Screwed, how you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing absolutely fantastic. I'm getting excited here for this Houston and Portland matchup here. This Portland Journey team, I've seen them a number of times, and they are looking absolutely beautiful this year. They've got a great goal differential with Sully I think he was in second, and who was in fourth? I'm sorry, my thing minimized here, but great goal opportunities for this Portland team. And you know what? Houston Flames, coming in, scraping into the playoffs, they have a lot to prove. This would be a big win if they can get this done. But we've seen, early on in the playoffs, you got the high seeds against the low seeds. It could be a sweep, but I would love to see Houston come back from this.
Portland comes into this series as the wild card team in the number 5 slot, but as you just said, everything that you mentioned, it doesn't feel like they're the underdog here in this series. And once again, as you said, Houston, they're looking for a little bit more to prove here in this series. These teams did meet once prior during the regular season, that week 2 matchup, again, early on in the season. So things definitely have changed since then. Portland was able to win that one with a series score of 3-2. So it did go the distance. Those two teams early in the season were pretty evenly matched. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams have developed so far and if they've got any surprises in store for us today.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this. The playoffs have been absolutely glorious so far. We got to see some Linguini gameplay early on Thursday. We're running the extra time slots. We're running the extra games. We're seeing a lot of great Rocket League, and let's go ahead and continue with that now.
5 minutes on the clock. Game 1 of this series is underway, and both of these teams come into this game about as hot as you could ask for. In their last 5 matches, both of these teams are 4-1. The one difference being between these two teams is that they both played Seattle. One team played them in week 8, one team played them in week 9. Portland lost that game to Seattle, but Houston was able to win it. And Seattle is the leader of the division that Portland came out of, which is the reason they're there in the wild card slot. So
yeah, and they proved that they could get that upset. So they proved that they're a team that's here and ready to play hard into this playoff. So I would love to see a win from this Flames team. And unfortunately, what a save by Billy and Sully, doubling up on that one as it's sent back to midfield. And Volt is going to send it deep into DeWolf's hands. Has it back up into the midfield. Sully up the right side, coming around the corner, back to Billy. Billy's going to pop it up and over. We're seeing a lot of really good team play from this journey. Just nothing quite connected in as it trickles down. And it's Sully's turn to swing it. And there's the first goal of the game.
Well, if that first demolition didn't open things up at all for the journey, that second one most certainly did. They didn't even have time to get off of that spawn timer before they were right back in it. And an open net for them to shoot at. It's the 1 goal difference here for the journey.
Absolutely aggressive gameplay right now. This early on is good to see. Journey, they're a very, professional feeling game. All of their names, they're single names. They don't have any of the fancy frills and the tags that a lot of other people do. And it's really good to see that their cars are color coordinated. And, they make it feel like a proper team, and every week they pull out all the stops. And the fact that, they had to play against Seattle so many times is just an unfortunate event for their season.
You're absolutely right. And right now, it's another extended period of time for the Flames to get on the board here, but it's not able to do so on that latest offensive foray from them. Portland looking to lock down this midfield defense, but so far, other than that, outside of that first goal, it's been a lot of back and forth here, and the Flames are threatening once again.
Yeah, they're both teams are really trying to feel out the other team. And beautiful play up by Billy, coming in with the air dribble in the middle, and a clear out by Necro. Great defense by Necro. A missed opportunity from Volt. Sully's going to bang that one top corner. DeWolf is going to send it far to the right side as Volt sends it right back. Nobody can stop this journey that is just aggressive and keeping it on the other half of the field, and it's really starting to hurt them. They're starting to demoralize, I think, a little bit on this Houston Flames team, who is just feeling the aggression come at them.
We passed through halftime here, and we've had a couple decent opportunities from both teams. We're going to look for DeWolf to step up from the Flames side, as they're the ones who are currently top 10 in the league in saves and also top 5 in shots, so they can do it on both ends of the field. But for this one, it's going to be Jamo who's going to find the equalizing goal there, top shelf, upper 90. A fantastic strike here brings the Flames even.
And those are the shots that are going to be, that upper 90, those corners, man, they're just so difficult to block. And that one was coming in there nice and fast. He made a great attempt to block it, but unfortunately, those are just really difficult to do at any level of gameplay. It looks like a simple shot to block, but you have to really be challenging it and appropriately. Jamo's going to take it up the right side. Billy's going to answer him with the 50. Sully's going to pop it back out and back on the attack, as Necro is going to get his opportunity to take a chance at it. Unfortunately, Billy is going to be there to play with the ball a little bit in midfield. Volt's going to go for the shot. There it is. Great setup by Billy to clear out the goal and make that shot available.
Got the 50-50 that comes off of the sidewall and ricochets into the middle of the field, and Volt knows exactly where to place that one out of the reach of the outstretched defender there in DeWolf, not able to make that save. It's the Journey who reclaimed the lead here, the minute 45 seconds to go in this game one.
Sully up in the air. He's going to go for the redirect towards Billy, but Wolf is going to intercept that right in there. Around him, up and over. Sully's up in the air, going to keep it away from that goal, but it's in a dangerous position. He's going to keep kind of in front with a weird air dribble there. Billy off the left side up to Necro, who's going to send it down to Wolf, who's going to send it right back into midfield, but Volt's going to get a beautiful clear on that. Jamo up in the air trying to defend that. He did a great job as Wolf is pushing up the right side, gets it around one, sends it to midfield. Unfortunately, Volt is there to just send it right back, and we're seeing a lot more back and forth for this, middle half of the game. There's the shot coming in. What a bounce shot. What a great pass. And the Volt Sully combo is coming back and coming back fast.
The bounce shot changeup can be oh so lethal when you just put it behind the defense that are trying to speed up and get towards that ball. It's now 3-1 in favor of the Journey, and we got 60 seconds left to find if the Flames are going to be able to bring this one back.
Billy up the right side. Jamo's trying to take it around. Great ball control, controlling it on the way to the other side. Unfortunately, he was 50'd in the air, and it is sent back. Sully with a shot towards mid. And no, it's going to be popped back out by Jamo. There is just no solid clears from this Houston Flames team. They're really struggling to get it off their half of the field.
And we've passed through 30 seconds left to play here. It's still a 2-goal deficit for Houston to try and overcome. And with the ball there on their side of the field, it's going to be a large magnitude of a task to get back here in this game one. They may end up finding themselves going down here in this series, but I've liked what they've brought to the table so far, even though it hasn't resulted in a lot of goals for them yet.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of games left. We're best of 7. They've got lots of opportunities to adjust and change their play style to try and counteract this amazing offense coming from the Portland Journey that we've just seen win game after game up there with Seattle. These two teams are definitely pushing hard. They're in the same conference and in the same division. So, they're not going to both be in the finals. So, they're fighting to get there, but it sounds like it's going to come down to, one or the other. Let's see if the Flames can upset that here in the next game.
And who else on the board for for Portland, but that Sully and Volt combination. Those are your 2 goal scorers here for the Journey, and they're adding to their season leading, not exactly leading, but still top 3, top 5 in Noodle Cup series, and they're just going to continue to add to that. Houston, they had a chance to bring that one back there in around the midpoint of that game, but Portland was able to put another one on it. I think that kind of just brought the mental back for the Journey a little bit more than the Flames were able to respond to. But again, like you said, an extended series here, best of 7, a lot of Rocket League left to play.
Absolutely. I'm excited for this. Flames have put on a great showing here. Let's see what they can do to adjust. And I think they didn't totally get destroyed. So I have a lot of faith in this team. But, this Portland team feels like they've been playing since they were toddlers. The chemistry is palpable.
They've been together for quite a few seasons now, at least, captained by Sully, and very intimate franchise there over for the journey. But again, not slacking are the Houston Flames here. We've got 5 minutes, excuse me. If you imagine if they only had 5 seconds to play a game. 5 minutes on the board here in game 2, and it's Jamo who, once again, being the goal scorer there for the Flames in game 1, they open the score in here in game 2.
Great play, and that's the kind of momentum that they need. Quick early goal. Now they just got to hold that and try and push a lot harder. That offense is nothing like what we see, fast and aggressive and furious off the kickoff. Another great kickoff. Volt is there, the answer this time, setting up into midfield. Necro's off it, and Volt is going to send it right back into Wolf, who's going to go ahead and take it up. Necro is pushing into midfield, going for the bumps and the demos. Fortunately, Billy was there to rotate back and get the block instead.
Oh, what a fan.
What a triple in.
A large degree of velocity came behind that save. It pinched all the way down into the Houston end, and we're going to see something. We talked about this in the prior series that we had when I casted with Sizz. The fact that now Houston, they've got the lead. They weren't playing with the lead there in that game 1, so we're going to see if that causes them to play a little bit differently, perhaps.
Absolutely.
With that lead, rather than trying to force things when you're playing from behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, this team is just, both these teams are fantastic. They fought through a long and hard, brutal season. And the Flames have just, they've got the lead right now. Oh, what a great play by Billy going for the pass in the mid, but Sully can't quite connect, and Wolf's going to send it back out. This is a much more aggressive Flames team as the shots are coming in, but the save by Volt, unfortunately, saving his own team shot. A little bit of poor recovery there, but that happens sometimes when you get bumped around the field. The shot's coming in, and Jamo sends it homo, and 2-0, 327. I can't speak. 3:20, 7 seconds left.
And you saw there an outstanding awareness of demolition play, physical play coming out. We saw that from Portland in that game 1. But instead here, it's the Flames that are able to utilize that one to extend their lead. 3.5 minutes left to go here in this game 2, and it's the Flames that are up by 2.
Absolutely. Billy off the back wall, coming in, sending it into midfield over Jamo, and he's the only one back. He's going to grab control of that ball and go ahead and save it. He dies for his challenges on that. Now Sully is going to get that kill, and Volt is coming in. Necro is back to defend, but Billy is right back there. This is the aggression that we saw in the first game that won them that game. Portland is back on the attack.
It's not often that you have this Portland Journey team being held off of the scoreline for an entire game. And with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left here in this game 2, I expect that to change. But right now, it's all Houston, and they're looking to increase this lead that they've got.
Absolutely. Volt with the clear off the backboard. Wolf is going to go ahead and take control of that. Necro into the midfield. He's got one to beat. He slams it on the ground. Sully doesn't fall for it. Stays low and sends it clear. Jamo up in the air. Passes it off to the right side. He's going to take control of the ball and slips it up. But Billy is going to have that. And Wolf is just right back there. Houston Flames pushing on a strong aggressive attack. And unfortunately, it is not going to get there. But there's another shot. Jamo with a great save. Houston Flames on their heels, doing their best to defend this aggression coming from this Portland Journey.
Yeah, they're going to count that lucky stars that that Portland wasn't able to find the back of the net on that touch, because the defense was absolutely scrambling there. And Portland still held off the board here, and Houston finally gets that clear. Sully's got to race back in order to corral this one and send it right back into the middle of the field. We've got 1 minute and 45 left on the clock here in this game 2, and it's still the Flames up by 2. But a demolition's going to open up the back end.
Sully.
Necro's not going to be able to get back to that one. Portland's on the board.
Beautiful pass by Billy off that side, and Sully is right there. Nobody there to defend that. Necro trying his best to squeak that in, and that's going to be one away from the equalizer. 140, plenty of time left to go. And you're absolutely right out there. As the hashtag or the exclamation part Portland, the Journey are in it for the long haul. And, they understand that this is a game of 7. And Volt is going to sneak it in for the equalizer with a little, let's call it the cowboy flick. He bounces around, watches up and down, and then boop. Beautiful play. Jamo is unable to stop it, and that's going to be the equalizer. 1:32 left.
The awareness to have that single jump fake to get that first defender to commit, and they slow the play down just enough to get a favorable 50. That one finds the back of the net, and after being kept off the scoreboard for about half of this game, Portland right back in it. We're all nodded at 2.
As we continue play on, Volt is going to miss it up in the top. The clear out from this Houston team is doing all that they can to get another one on the board. They do not want to go to overtime. They know what this Portland Journey team can do. Up the right side is Jamo. He's kind of double committed a little bit with the Wolf, but they're going to take their time. The triple commit in that corner. Is it going to pay off? No, the demo comes in, and Sully saves that from going in by killing the shooter.
If you can't take a play on the ball, take a play on the player themselves, and you're not able to shoot the ball, you're going to have a fantastic time there on defense, are the Portland Journey. But this game, already a lot more even than what we saw in that game 1. Still, 30 seconds left to play here. Somebody's going to have to break the ice and find the tie-breaking goal. 30 seconds, overtime looming here, unless one of these teams can find a way to put that one in.
You know, I have a feeling based on how the momentum and stuff have been going, if it goes to overtime, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a Journey game. But let's see the shot coming in, and Volt with a great read on that aerial and is going to get the clear out. DeWolf and Necro doing all that they can to double up on that last one. It's going to be cleared out. We got 3 seconds left to go into overtime. Jamo up in the air. Sully's going to pop it up. A game of keep it up, and it's going to come down for the overtime. 2-2. Let's reset this game. Sudden death.
Overtime here, our first of the series in game 2, and like you said, the longer you let Portland hang around in this game, you got to feel it's their game to lose. And Houston, they're going to try and prove everybody wrong here in the fact that they absolutely deserve to be in this series. That fantastic offensive foray there. Necro is going to keep us even.
Absolutely. Both teams are doing all that they can to get this ball in. All they need is one to go. And there's some beautiful saves coming out from both sides as Sully's turn to make the save and clear that ball out. The demo comes in on Necro. Volt's going to send it back towards the Houston goal as DeWolf is going to take control of that ball. Billy and Necro in the air. 15 Volt's going to send it from the right side off the back wall. DeWolf passes it back out deep into the Journey side of the field. He gets one to beat, and Billy doesn't fall for the flick.
Billy had minimal boost there. They did a fantastic job of timing that challenge in order to make sure that they were able to win that over the oncoming offensive player there for the Flames. 1 minute played in this overtime. We still don't have a deciding goal here so far, but Portland, they're threatening, and they've had a lot of possession here in this overtime period so far.
Absolutely. And, you know, they've had a lot of possession this whole game, with the exception of the 2 times that Houston Flames got those goals pretty early on in this game. But ever since then, it's been a Journey game. And there's a chance to get it, but Billy just quite doesn't make it. Another off the side wall is going to send it into the middle. Billy's going to send it right back. Necro, nobody's back. It's up off the backboard, and luckily no shots come in off of that. That could have been it for the Journey, but it continues.
The reason I said oh no was the fact that Billy had that kind of a touch there as the last man in the middle of the field. Houston probably would have wanted to take that touch a little bit lighter and focus that one on target, because if they were able to do that, that might have been the game here. But still, we continue on. 2 minutes of overtime here in game 2. Nobody's been able to find the difference maker.
You know, we're coming up on a game and a half at this point. Off the top side, it's in a dangerous position. Volt's going to go ahead and take it off. DeWolf is going to send it back into the middle of the shot. What a shot in front of the goal, but it's cleared out by Billy. What a read off that back wall bounce, and Billy got the clear out. But now Houston Flames have been on the aggression here for the past 30 seconds or so. DeWolf up in the air. Volt's going to go ahead and send it into midfield. Billy gets a backflip in the midfield, and it does not go up for that ball, unfortunately. But it does set up Sully to take his time with it and send it back deep. Just a lot of tennis balling right now, back and forth. Oh.
So far, just the game of midfield possession that this game has devolved into. 3 minutes almost played here in this overtime period. We may see another full game left if nobody's able to score before that 5-minute mark. But again, a lot of space in this midfield play. and neither team's being able to take advantage of it. They're kind of, as you said, they're kind of just ping-ponging it around. A little game of tennis we've got going on here. We'll see who's able to break the ice.
The demo coming out on one of the back defenders. Jamo's going to be up to send that into the corner. Passes it into Sully. Sully's going to just barely get a hit on it, but it sends it back into the other corner. Everybody's going for sniper shots, it seems. They're shooting it from midfield, shooting it from the corners. They don't want to risk anything up and close and get, they don't want this game to end on one lucky clear out shot.
Absolutely. And the bane of overtime periods is just you extend and overcommit too much, and you just end up with a walk-in goal for one of the teams, and it just feels so depressing if that's the way that you end an overtime period, especially an extended one like this where we're almost at 4 full minutes played. And oh my goodness, and you look at that one, you sneak that one in on the front post. Nobody's there for Portland. Unfortunate touch there by Volt is going to be a pinch in towards the middle of the field, and who's else but DeWolf. They're there to strike at the heart of the journey, and the Flames even up this series here 1-1.
They might be hungry like the Wolf, but the Journey is starting to, not believe in themselves. They're having a little trouble connecting with each other that game. And, with the 1-1 now, Journey's starting to feel it. They're like, okay, we are beatable. We're going to have trouble with this. How do we adjust? They can't let that momentum swing get to them. If they do, it could be over for them. But, great teams. I think we might see a game 6 or 7 on this with how both teams are playing.
This does have the potential to go the distance, and you see the shot totals there. Not a large disparity, to be fair, but Portland definitely did have the majority of offensive opportunities in that game. However, it's the defense for Houston that I think was the big difference maker there. Obviously, you have an extended overtime period. You can't let anything in if you want a chance to get that game-breaking goal.
Absolutely.
And now, with an evened up series, I think it's anybody's game here as we move to game 3.
And they really needed that. They needed that, not just the momentum, but that confidence to push them through and really accelerate that, we can beat them. We beat Seattle. We can beat Portland. If Seattle beat Portland, we beat Seattle. So it's mathematics right there that we can beat them as well. And that's what they're trying to prove to us here.
A little bit of a lightning dance here as we get into game 3. This series currently tied 1 game apiece between the Portland Journey and the Houston Flames. 5 fresh minutes on the clock, and this kickoff is going to go neutral there in the middle of the field, trying to gain possession and gain a competitive edge here are these teams. So far, 15 seconds left, or 15 seconds played, excuse me. Haven't seen one of those kickoff goals, those early leads like we saw in the last series. So pretty even so far.
Absolutely. A shot coming on. Necro and DeWolf split the difference on that one, sent it back out, but that left nobody in goal. DeWolf is able to get back and pop it out to Sully, who's right there for the shot on ball. There it is! The Sully Billy combo now. The Sully. That doesn't make sense at all.
We're going to have so many nicknames for each duo of players here.
The Sullivolt and the Billivolt sound great, but the Sully, the Billoli, it doesn't roll off the tongue like the other ones.
And as we said, nobody was able to break the ice there off that opening kickoff, but still, about 30 seconds played here. It's Portland again with the early advantage. So is that going to be the difference maker here? Because we saw Houston play a little bit different in that game 2 when they weren't forced to play from behind. They eventually had to bring that one all the way back through overtime in order to win that game. But this could be a microcosm of what this series is about. If Portland's able to play with an early lead, it could be a long road ahead for the Flames.
DeWolf had a really good chance on that shot and just barely didn't have enough heat on it, unfortunately. But that was a beautiful touch to try and go for that score. Off the corner now, Jamo and Volt getting a fighting as Sully comes in, sweeps around, tries to pass it to the middle to Billy, and just a bit topside. A beautiful opportunity, just a bit outside.
Could have had that was a fantastic opportunity and could have extended the lead here for the Journey, but they're going to go wanting, and still a 1-goal deficit for the Flames. It's very manageable, especially with the amount of time that they have here. But if you're going to keep giving up these chances to Portland, eventually they're going to find a way to put one in the back of the net, and it's very, very scary the amount of shots that Portland's putting on.
Absolutely. You know, these teams are both starting to feel it. You know, we're used to the best of 5, so we have to go to 7. So the fact that they've already reset and now essentially restarted at 1-1, they have to start thinking about the long haul. You know, they have to start thinking about, you know, not being too aggressive, not, you know, tiring themselves out, because, you know, mentally these games can start to take a toll. You know, physically not too demanding, but mentally it's very much a different game when you get to those game 6s or 7s.
Especially if you have those overtimes that go for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, because that's just even more time that you have to dedicate to putting all your focus in on the game. And if we get periods where you're playing almost an entire another game of Rocket League in an overtime, that's especially draining. It's gonna be interesting to see how these teams respond here after that extended period that we had in game 2. But now it's Jammo. Are they gonna be able to put that one in? No, it was almost in. And it's a breakout here, opportunity for the Journey. What a save.
Billy just barely saved it, and then they send it back in. That was a 2-point swing, you know, one missed goal opportunity for Houston, and then a goal then going in. That's really unfortunate. Billy with that beautiful last-second save. That ball was in. That ball was all glowing, and wow. And Jammo, not to mention, that was a gorgeous shot placement by him, but Billy was just barely there.
And has the opportunity to be a backbreaker here, because you had almost a certain goal, and somehow, some way, the Journey were able to keep that out. And not only that, they were able to flip that one in to another goal for Portland on the other side. And as you said, a 2-point swing there. The lead is now 2. We've got a minute and a half left to play here in this game 3. Is Houston going to be able to bring something back?
You know, Billy did pick up a savior with that save, believe it or not. So if any save was worth earning that savior medal, that was the one. Sully pops it off the top side. Necro's going to go ahead and send it deep into the field. Jammo going in for the shot, just a bit off to the top. Nobody did capitalize on that, and Volt's going to clear it out the other way. 50s with Wolf. Wolf's up in the air, trying to keep it above Sully, using all of the last-second boost that he has. Necro comes in with the tee shot and unfortunately does not connect with the goal.
60-second countdown now on the screen, and it's going to be interesting to see how Houston's able to put the pressure on, because you had an opportunity there, Sully as the last man back for Portland, and they ended up shooting it right at him. And they've had their opportunities there where they've had their odd man rushes, and so far it's been fruitless for the Flames. You're going to have something here from either DeWolf or Jammo, because Jammo's been the one who's been able to put a majority of the goals in here for the Flames. Looking for them to step up big here as we approach 30 seconds left.
Absolutely. Cleared off into midfield. Wolf is up in, trying to pass it off to the backside. Goes for a shot. Volt is able to read it and send it back out. The aggression coming in from Necro now shoots the ball into the corner with a tap from Wolf. Not quite there, and a great save by Volt, sending it straight up in the air, but that's going to come back in, and Billy saves it. What a great wall of Journey right now.
I'm not sure how they've managed to do it. It's looked like golden opportunities here, one after the other for the Flames, and somehow, some way, they've been able to keep the ball out of their net. And as we enter 0-second time, the Portland Journey are going to be the ones who take game 3. And with that, they move to a 2-1 series advantage.
Absolutely. And, you know, these teams are just fighting it tooth and nail against each other and just doing a great job. But unfortunately, you know, the disconnect with the Flames right now, they had so many opportunities to get that ball in the net, and that defense, that we haven't seen defense like that from Portland yet. And they just absolutely lights out, went to town. Beautiful game making, beautiful play making to keep a ball out of their net. And they only needed 2 goals, but it could have easily been 4-2, and they could have had a loss with that one.
We saw all the Flames players there, 4 shots on the net for each of them. It's impressive how Portland was able to play defensively and set up that wall in front of their own net and prevent Houston from scoring at all.
Yeah.
But if the pattern, being what it is, will continue, Portland won the first game, Houston made some adjustments, won the second game. Portland then made their own adjustments and won that game 3. Are we going to see Houston continue the pattern here as we move into game 4?
Absolutely. And, you know, I think that I think we're going to see Houston adjust again, and now I think we're going to see a Houston game. This whole series just feels like a game 7. I could be wrong. You know, either of these teams can win it the next couple games. And what a beautiful shot by Volt, able to catch that and sneak that one right in. Watch this ball control of Sully coming off the sidewall, passes it right down to Volt. A perfect pass, perfect shot placement. Jamo had no chance to block that one.
And who else but the Sully Volt connection coming in and bearing fruit for the journey once again. They've taken an early lead here, and not to berate the point, but now, once again, Houston forced to play from behind. If they can get a quick equalizer here, that negates that, and we can throw that out the window when we play as normal. But if this continues on and they have to start fighting and scrambling and trying to pick apart that Portland defense, they weren't able to do it in game 3. We'll see if they're able to put something together here as we put a minute played in game 4.
Absolutely. Ball gets sent down deep to DeWolf. Volt's going to go ahead and let it sail over him to Sully. Sully's going to pop it right back to Jamo, who gets the read on Sully and gets it just barely to Necro. Unfortunately, he's going to take that ball up the right side, swing it around. Volt with the 50 doesn't connect very well on that one. Billy's going to send it back out, gets around Wolfie on that right side, left side, and it is sent back into midfield with the Necro sending it deep.
Volt's going to take this one up and look to put that one on target. They're met there by the Houston Flames, and everybody for the Flames sitting there in net. They got to have a little bit more aggression here, especially if they're going to play down as they have been in this series so far. Still a 1-goal deficit, 3.5 minutes left to play in game 4. Still plenty of time for the Flames to find something, but the way that the journey were able to focus on defense there in that game 3, it's a tough task.
Absolutely. DeWolf popping it up straight in the air. Billy with the answer on that left side. Beats up Jamo on his way to control it. Sully goes in for the shot. Wolf is there to save it. Beautiful save by Wolf. He's going to control the ball, take it around the outside, gets it around 1. He's going to take control again, and no! Sully's going to barely beat him to it. Sending it deep. Sully's looking for the pass on the back wall. What a beautiful pass and a shot! That was a gorgeous pass. Look at this little flick that Sully gets right over the last defender and just passes it perfectly to Billy, who just dinks it in with a little bit of panache.
Sully with the unselfish play here and acting as the facilitator for their teammates. That's 2 assists for them so far in this game, assisting on both of the goals that the Journey have been able to score. But it's Billy not able to get back to that one. DeWolf scores for Houston. They brought it back within 1.
You know, those are the kind of quick goals that they need. Beautiful little touch there for Wolf to send that in, taking matters into his own hand. You know, the Wolf Pack strikes deep. Let's see if that's enough to get them back into the swing of things on this. Another great win for it, but Sully's going to grab it off the outside. The Wolf is in the air. Sully went for the bump, but Volt is going to get the demo on Jamo as well. And a lot more aggression from this Portland team now on that attack there. Let's see if that trend continues or if they're going to play back like they have been.
Yeah, the biggest difference here between game 4 and how Houston performed in game 3 is the fact that they've got a goal on the board now. They've shown and proven to themselves that they can score. This Portland defense is in fact vulnerable. So that's important for their mental as they move forward here. And still, again, plenty of time left, 2 minutes to get 1 goal, more than doable for the Houston Flames.
Absolutely. A nice little tap up by Jamos, controlling it in the midfield. Sully's going to get the 50-50, sends it back to Necro. Necro to Billy. Billy sends it off the back wall. DeWolf is going to try and get the touch, doesn't quite get there. It sends it back into midfield. This is dangerous in front of that goal. Volt is going to pop it up and over. It's going to trickle off to the right side as DeWolf's going to catch it. Sneak by Volt and go ahead and take control. And suddenly comes in out of nowhere. Goes for the shot and the demo on Necro. And now Volt is coming in after them. Up and over 1. And a nice save by Necro. Beautiful chance by Necro coming back from that demo and getting that save.
I was very surprised by the Portland team there. They elected to just vacate the middle of the field and go back and try to get boosts, but the ball ended up coming to them. And the Portland Journey clearing out everybody on the goal line. Sully, it's not an assist here, it's a goal. They're going to put this one in themselves and get them back to a 2-goal advantage.
Absolutely, and that was a great play by this team. And, you know, they're doing their best to sneak it in there, and unfortunately the Flames just can't get it going. they're trying their hardest and they're not playing bad at all, but it's just not enough against this high flying, fast and aggressive team play oriented Portland Journey team. I see why, you know, they're in the top, 2 of them are in the top 5 for goals scored.
The offensive firepower that this Journey team brings to bear is nothing to scoff at. And if they're just going to keep interrupting the Flames before they can even break out of their own half, it's going to be a long road here in this series for Houston. And so far, 2 goals still to come back from. Do the Flames have? And as we get closer towards 30 seconds and change left in this game 4, looking more and more likely that Portland might move on to series point.
And we got 30 seconds left. They're up by 2. It's possible, but oh, what a bump from Necro, securing the goal for JAMO. And that gives us 1 point down from the equalizer with 28 seconds left. Beautiful play by Necro to make sure that Sully can't touch it.
Taking a page out of the playbook that the Portland Journey were utilizing so effectively in this game. Get yourself a lead blocker, get that last man out of the net, and find a equalizing goal potentially now, because you've brought it back within 1. 20 seconds left to play here, and it's not where the Flames want the ball in their own end, and a demolition's going to take one of their members off of the pitch for at least the next 3 seconds. 10-second countdown on the screen. Houston's got to push.
Portland sending all the stops. They're keeping this ball as far away from their own goal as they possibly can, but it's sent back down deep. It's off the sidewall. No, Sully's going to get a great clear, and the demo comes out on Volt, and that's going to be a win for this Portland team. On my screen, it says asterisk, but, you know, we know who it is.
Portland got a little bit of a scare there late in that game, but at no point in this game did it feel like they had lost control of the game. They established that lead early. They established that physical play style, and they were able to convert on at least a majority of the chances that were threatening the Houston Flames net. Houston,
Absolutely.
however, they scored in this game, something they didn't manage to do in game 3, but in the end wasn't enough. So we're going to move to series point now for Portland as they lead this series 3-1.
Absolutely. And you know, they're doing a great job. A lot of people are expecting this Portland team to come out fast and strong like this. You know, Houston did get that win. They proved that they can do it. They really need to pull it together and get around any kind of psychological warfare that this Portland Journey team is bringing to them. You know, they're doing their best to demoralize them. They're doing their best to control the pace of the game and every aspect of the game, and they're doing a great job at it. It's going to be really difficult for the Flames to come back, but you know, anything is possible, and they have proven they can beat good teams like this.
Fresh 5 minutes on the clock here as we move into game 5. It's going to be interesting to see, because of the way that Houston scored their second goal there with that physical play style, taking a page out of the Portland Journey's book, if they're going to try and incorporate that as we move forward in this series. Because if they don't, and if they're not able to put anything in the back of the net, they're going to go home.
Sully's going to send it deep on the side, off the back walls. DeWolf. Billy's coming in for the little bounce shot. Couldn't quite get it around Necro. JAMO up the sidewall, but no! Sully is there to answer. Necro, DeWolf kind of double committing just a little bit there in the center, but Necro's going to flounder a little bit around the ball, and they push each other out of it. Some miscommunication from this Houston team, and they're looking like they're in a lot of trouble this game.
Still only a minute played here so far. Neither team able to break the ice with an early goal. And as we said multiple times in this series, if Portland's able to get that opening goal and force Houston to play from behind, historically, the series has said that it's not a good time for the Flames, but it is a good time if you're able to find that opening goal. Is Houston. DeWolf making their presence felt here in this game. They have to step up, and they've done so with that opening goal. Now you're not playing from behind. You've got the advantage.
Absolutely, and that's the advantage that they won with in that second game. Let's see if they can control this game and continue it out like they did that time around. Necro's going to take control of the ball. He's going to slow down the field to play just a little bit. Volt's coming in for the 50, gets it around 1. Sully's there to meet him, sends it back to midfield to Billy. He's going to send it into the corner, tries to get it around DeWolf, but he just barely misses it. No! JAMO and DeWolf connect, and that's going to empty the net for an easy Sully goal. Unfortunate miscommunication from this Houston Flames defense.
And you could see that DeWolf wanted to leave it for their teammate there, Jammo, but unfortunately, Jammo gets a face full of DeWolf instead of making contact with the ball, leaves it wide open for the Portland Journey to take advantage of, and now they've brought it back even.
You know, it's really unfortunate that a mistake like that had to happen when they're fighting for survival in this match point right now. But, you know, they can come back from this. They're fine. They're still in control of this game. Nice pop up in the air, and Jammo's going to slam-o it home. What a great play. Look at this beautiful pass. DeWolf's going to flick it up off the top side, and Jammo is going to wait patiently for Volt to make his decision where he's going. He's going to take it right above him.
And as I said, after that first goal from Houston, DeWolf has to step up here if they want to continue through the Flames in this series. And guess what? Who steps up and provides that outstanding pass for Jammo to get on the end of? It's DeWolf. And they're left all alone there in the defensive end, and it's going to be a bully ball there as Volt's able to force that one in and tie the game once again.
Oh, there are bumps, and then there are just absolute massacres. And this Portland Journey team decided to take the Wolf, slam him down, and start mercilessly wrecking him on that bump.
And it's not often that you have to stare down two players just foregoing the ball and going right at your vehicle, but not a lot you can do in that situation.
That either.
So pick yourself up, dust that one off. You still have a tie game here, so you're not out of it by any means, except it's got to feel a little bit bruised to that ego, the fact that just got manhandled by all two-thirds of the Portland team.
And, you know, it's kind of fun to watch things like that happen. You know, risky play for sure as you double up on that attack. And everybody's missing it. Sully's going to get the 50 with Necro to kind of try and clear it back out. But this ball is still in a dangerous location, and everybody's up for that one. Ball's going to send off to the left side as Volt's going to take his time. He's going to slow this down. He's got the time. He's going to send it to mid to Sully. What a great chance by Wolf sending it over to Necro. Now Billy's turn. He's going to send it up the backside. Jammo's going to be there to answer. Now Volt is taking his... He's going to reset the play there in a second. Goes for the bumps, and there's... Oh, no! Whether it was a fake bump, or a fake flick, who knows? But look at this play from Volt. Goes for the flick, goes for the bump, but doesn't need to, as it just sails on over the defender.
That 50-50 turns into 100-0 there real quick. Portland Journey able to take advantage of that one, and Volt with a fantastic flick over the last defender there in net. That's how they gain the advantage here. 2 minutes left in what could be a decisive Game 5.
It would be really unfortunate for it to be a one-goal game, and that one time that Wolf gets absolutely hammered by his teammate be the goal that decides it. As Houston's going to try and bring this back in. They have one down now. As they go for the shot, and Sully's going to get the save. Billy off the left side. Jammo is sending it back to midfield. Volt's turn to go up the side to Wolf, sending it off the back wall. And 50s with Sully. Another aggressive Portland offense. And now, even with the clear out, Wolf is just going to send it right back in.
They're not allowing them to escape, but they may have overextended here, and they have. Billy caught them sleeping there on the back end. Third man committed far too upfield for the Flames. Now it's a 2-goal lead for the Journey.
I kind of feel like if you're the Flames right now, that's kind of the right call to make. You need to overextend a little bit. You need to be a lot more aggressive, just because you have to get these goals. You have a minute left in your entire season if you don't get that one goal. So I respect the risk, but of course always high risk, high reward kind of play.
Season for the Flames hanging in the balance. The final, what could be 60 seconds of this Game 5. They find themselves down by 2. They're going to need to truncate their rotations and get that ball in the net if they want to have any hope of surviving here in this series. But getting taken off of the field are the Flames. Portland seemingly possessing the ball at will here. 30 seconds left to go. You got to find something.
Oh, another demo coming in from Volt. It doesn't pan out this time, but this Portland team is doing a great job with their bump plays and demo plays. As we've seen, Necro off the far right side hits it to Billy, who sends it into the middle of the goal, but Volt is there to send it right back. Another demo coming from Billy. There's the Volt hat trick now. Another demo goal, and I think 3 of these goals have been off bumps or demos this game alone for the Portland Journey.
Physical play style paying dividends here for Portland. The last 15 seconds of this game, all but a formality, as that one, all intents and purposes, was the backbreaker. The final 10 seconds on the screen right now. The ball comes towards the backboard for the Flames. Are the Portland Journey going to get one to go for the road? They are. Billy finds that one to go in the back of the net. That's their second here of this game 5.
Essentially, since we're in slop time, the Houston Flames are just trying to come away with maybe a goal to feel a little better about themselves. And unfortunately, Portland just says no. It's like, you know what? We're not going to give any of that, and we're going to go ahead and take the win as they grab the series victory and head on into next week's playoff. It'll be interesting to see who they play, because who's looking down the line right now at them is that Seattle team. I would love to see what happens when Portland and Seattle meet in this playoff. Hopefully it's in the quarter or semifinals, or the semifinals, I should say. And it'll be the decider to see who goes on to play the Eastern champion.
And you know what? Just because you brought it up, I went ahead and go look at the bracket. Guess who Portland plays in the quarterfinals? They've got a date with Destiny. They've got a date with the Seattle Swarm. They are going to be looking out for retribution, because the fact of the matter is they were a pain in the side of the Portland Journey so far this season. The Seattle Swarm going to look to pick one up, but focusing on the game in front of us here that just occurred. Houston put up a fantastic fight. After losing that first game 1, they were able to battle back in an extended overtime period, get that game 2 victory. Unfortunately for them, the Portland defense just a little bit too much to overcome in that game 3. And man, you talk about imposing your will on another team. The Journey were just all over the Flames in that game 5, especially with the fact of being able to get those bumps, get those demos, and just do whatever they wanted to with the ball. It was honestly impressive to see.